Hey everybody, Rob Cairns here. Today in this week's podcast, I want to share with you something you should never do in business. And frankly, it's something that shows a lack of respect and a lack of concern. So let me take you down a scenario that happened in my life in this past week and show with you where it went wrong and how you could use some automation to help it avoid going wrong, just as a teaching moment. So I'm going to call the person involved to protect identity because, frankly, he doesn't get it and he never will. Let's call him D. And D's been chasing me for a couple of weeks to book some time to have a meeting to talk about collaborating, which I agreed to do. He gave me his Calendly link and I booked some time for last Thursday. 10 minutes after that time, D texts me and says, I'm still in another meeting. This is problem number one. You should have done that before our appointed time. And I understand meetings run long. It happens. Can we rebook for an hour from now? Sure, no problem. Then he changed that meeting to an hour and a half from now. Still no problem. Things happen. We get it. The world's tough right now. Then 20 minutes into that time, he rebooks for later in the day. Houston, we have a problem. Me being silly said, no problem. And normally by now I'm checked out and done because I don't like constant rebookings. It's not the way I run my business. Yes, emergencies come up, health reasons come up, but his excuse was, frankly, my meetings were running late and I'm busy. When the third time came up, D didn't show up for 30 minutes and I checked out and went to bed. He's in the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. I said, I'm going to bed, I'm done. I finally got a meeting trying to reschedule for the next day, which was last Friday. And I said to D in a text, I can't do this Friday, I'm too busy. And frankly, I had a busy day. My calendar was booked. Then he says, talk to me next week. So I talked to him a couple times. And he finally says to me, let's book some time. Here's my link. And I said, D, no. Commit that you're going to be there. And he got upset at me. And frankly, I just blocked him on social media and said, I'm done. The next thing that happened was I got an email saying I was unprofessional. And I'm thinking, really? And we'll go back and we'll take a look at that situation. And frankly, I don't even care. I set D up so that he automatically goes, his emails go to my deleted box. I'm done. So what happened? And what went wrong? Nothing with me. I was actually more than accommodating. My only fault on my part was I was probably a little too tolerant with D. What he did wrong, he rescheduled multiple times. I get one reschedule. But because you're tied up in other meetings, tells me these meetings were more important. And frankly, I wasn't important. And D never once apologized for the constant rescheduling. He basically figured it was his right. Well, I'm sorry. A little empathy would have gone a long way, and a little scheduling. Now, how do we prevent this? Many of us in the online world use calendar spacing. I actually use a calendar system that puts buffers on each side of my meetings. So that helps. I buffer my time. I don't book back-to-back meetings normally because meetings tend to run late. I get it. And I'll even book manual time in. The other thing I do in my calendar is I book working time for clients and I book working time for my business. By booking that time into my calendar, those spots cannot be booked into. And that helps manage my schedule. That's something I don't know if D was doing or not doing, but it's something he should be doing. And frankly, saying you're sorry and being empathy and not trying to drive it, it's not my fault you rescheduled 3 times. It's not my fault. I went to him and finally said, choose a time that we're actually going to have this conversation. That's on D. And frankly, what I determined in all this is D is not the type of person I really want to work with, or his tribe, or the way he works. That doesn't work for me. Basically, booking meetings and missing multiple meetings, that tells me as a business owner who's successful that working with Dee is going to be a life of this. And that's not a life I'm prepared to go down, frankly. So I make no excuses for what I did. I just managed the situation and got out of it. And frankly, I think Dee has a long way to go in learning how to manage expectations and using some online tools to help. So that's my thoughts. To summarize, when you're using an online booking system, make sure you book lead time and post time on your schedule. You can set most good calendar systems up to give you buffer time. Also include in that buffer time transportation as well. Not so big these days with COVID going on because we're all booking meetings online, so it's a little easier, but you still need time in between, in my case, to take the dogs out. Yes, to take the dogs out, to grab water, to grab pop, to grab coffee, to use the washroom. And just be respectful of each other and show them you care. Because frankly, if somebody doesn't care about me enough, how are they going to care about my business or what I bring to the table? Food for thought. As always, Rob Cairns, CEO, founder, chief creator of Amazing Ideas of Stunning Digital Marketing. This podcast is dedicated to my late father, Bruce Cairns. Yesterday was the 10th anniversary. We lost him. We're so sorry. The 13th is the 10th anniversary. We lost his brother, Clifford. We love you both very much. We love you guys. I miss you every day. If you want to contact me on Twitter at Rob Cairns or my website, stunningdigitalmarketing.com, or feel free to call me, 416-624-7647. Have an amazing day, everybody. Keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars and make your business succeed. I love you. Bye for now.